Hey everybody, it's Linda with Stamping School. This week I'm playing with the Boardwalk Fun bundle. There's designer paper and the dies and the stamps, and I wanted to make this spin a little bit because, you know, that's what Ferris wheels do. Of course, the first thing Matt said, he's like, yeah, but if you could put each one of these on a little pin so that they would rotate as the cars went around, I was like, no, I think they're too small for that. But I do like just being able to, you know, have something a little interactive on the card, even though if we go all the way around, the people are just going to fall out. That's just the way it is. And of course, he's a roller coaster nerd, so on the inside, the stamp set has this fun roller coaster. Let me show you what's in the bundle. So the stamp set has Celebrate, Hey Sunshine, palm trees, and this big roller coaster. Enjoy the ride and happy birthday. The dies have this big Ferris wheel die, and then 6 of these little guys all cut out at once right here. To do all of these, you're going to need to run it twice. We'll do 12 of them. A couple palm trees, a little roller coaster car here, a few little fun embellishment accent things, and then these. Now, some of these do cut out. The designer paper, Beach Boardwalk. There's this one right here. It's all 12 by 12. So it's interesting, this will fit and we'll cut it out. However, what it does is something odd. It cuts out, you can still see some of the little umbrellas. See, these right here don't cut out. These are a whole bunch of them, but it will cut out the frame of it, and then I guess you can just put on those. So that's kind of nice. I mean, if you're going to do all of that, you might as well just do the cardstock, which is what I did. But also these little palm trees cut out, not exactly, but the dies will cut them out like that. It's kind of odd, like they mostly cut them out. And then the tickets, so let me show you, let's see, which I love this, the carousel. You can fussy cut all these out if you want. And then the back side. This one's all palm trees, and then the back side has just like a mottled looking pink color. Yellow, sunshine, and sky, which is really pretty. The water, marbled water, and then more sky on that one. This one you can cut into 6 panels, so you could have the palm trees. And then it's just some fun lights and swags on this side. And then the tickets. And this ticket die does cut out most of them right here, as you can see right here. So, and the rest you can fussy cut out. So if you have someone who loves amusement parks and things, but you don't have a lot of it and you just want to do a few cards, you can get the designer paper and then just fussy cut these things out, and it would be a lot of fun to use with just the designer paper. Now you're going to need 2 of these. I did white. I did a lot of looking online, Googling Ferris wheels, and they come in lots of different colors, and often they come in white. And I wanted something where the little cars really popped, so I did white, but you can do it any color you want. And what you're going to do is you're going to cut a little bit. Now, if you don't want to make it spin, you can just stick it on here and then we'll put the cars on. But if you want it to spin, this is how we're going to do it. Oh, by the way, I forgot to show you these. These are like these little foam stickers, Beach Boardwalk puffy stickers. And they're meant to go with the whole amusement park theme. And they're dimensional and they're soft, so they'll mail easily if you're into that sort of thing. So we need this little bottom piece right here, this triangle, and so we're going to cut one of these apart. But try to save it because we're going to use it to kind of strengthen the other piece. So just come around here, trim off all the spokes. Is that what they're called? I'm not sure, but they look like bicycle spokes. We're going to cut this off like that, and then we need to cut this little middle part out like this. And it's okay if it's a little rough because we're going to cover up this centerpiece. Okay, now if if you need to, you're going to see this part a little bit, so just make sure that looks clean. And then for this one, we want just the wheel. So this one is a little bit more to do. We're going to cut this bottom piece off here. And then some people leave this in there. I don't. I like it to look like this, so it's all nice and even. So I'm going to come in and just cut out the really thick one like that. And do the same thing. Just get a nice sharp scissors. Cut this up here and here. And I know some of you are going like, oh no, I'm not going to do all of that. Well, you know, you do what you do when somebody loves Ferris wheels and you want to make them a special card. So we do all the extra little fussy work. Okay, so that is the wheel. Now, what I meant by reinforcing it, because they're going to be playing with it, it'd be great to have a little bit more than just the thick white here. So I'm going to turn this over and put a little bit of glue back here. And I'm going to just put the second layer on. Just dot my glue here, 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 all around. Just dotting my glue in. And I'm going to add this right on top of this one. Oh, this way. Just like that. And lining them up exactly. So we've already cut it, so we might as well use it, right? And then this little piece goes on top of this one, right down here. So it's only missing a little bit, but it's going to give it that extra thickness that is so nice. Okay, here's our two pieces. Now, to make this little spinny thing right here, I've got a little bolt in there. You could also just use a dimensional, but you probably want to use like our sheet dimensionals and cut a little circle out of that if you want. I really like the metal in there. I feel like it makes it spin a little bit smoother. So that's what I'm going to use. So here's my designer paper. I've got a little piece of smoky slate at the bottom just to sort of represent the concrete right there. So we're gonna, first thing we want to do is we want to stamp these palm trees back here. I wanted them to be in the distance, but not be black or too powerful. So I'm using smoky slate, and it was a good opportunity to use the new stamp and positioner thingy that's free right now with a starter kit, and it'll be available to customers soon, hopefully after February is over. So I'm going to add these guys right here. I should have waited on my cardstock down here, but we can make it work. I want some of them to be higher, maybe like that. So I can do all three at once. I'm going to add this here, pick it up. Okay. Make sure this doesn't go anywhere. There we go. And then I can ink that up. I'm going to use the smoky slate, which is a very light gray. So not black, so that it takes over everything. And basic gray is darker. So we're just going to do the smoky slate. Here we go. There. Okay. Now we're going to glue the base on right down here, making sure we've got enough room for the Ferris wheel. This goes down here, right about there. And then we need to start making holes and everything so we can make it spin. So it's going to look like that. See, I almost got a little too far over there, but it's going to be okay. So grab something that you can poke with and something foamy, and poke a nice hole in the center of that and in the center of this, just like that. You want it to be fairly large and loose. If you make too small of a hole, this is just going to be very tight and won't spin well. And you'll need a brad of some kind. Big, small, doesn't matter. I just happen to have these. Go through here and then put your nut, like just go raid the tool box and just get a little nut. Now, if you decide to use the dimensionals instead, what you want to do, you'll want about a 3/4 inch piece of the sticky foam, and make it a little bit circular like this. I punched out a couple of circles 3/4 inch right here and put that between the two like this. You shouldn't see it, so you might have to trim the foam a little bit. There. Put that between the two, poke your hole like that. And like I said, you may have to make the hole bigger, you may have to use a bigger hole punch, but you want to make sure it's loose enough that it will go through and not get caught up like that. And that is a different way to do your spin. What you need is a little spacer, basically, which is why I really like these. Now, they're not going to go through the mail sorter, but you probably wouldn't send this through the sorter anyway. It would get all squished. So, all right, so here we go. So here, the brad goes through, and then the little nut. Is it a bolt? No, that's the nut. Okay. And then through there. Now, the tighter that you open this up, the tighter that you bring that down, it's not going to spin as easy. So what I like to do is just come in with scissors or something, and you just want to loosen it up just a little bit. Just put a little bit more space in there so it's not so tight. So this will spin nicely, just like that. And then we get to decorate it, so that's the fun part. Now, I cut all of these little gondolas out of white, and then I just went through, oh, I lost one. I went through with my blends and just colored them. It was a lot easier for me than to use all those tiny little pieces of paper and, get all those different colors. Just cut them all in white, and then you can just color them like that. And they're on glue dots, which is easy. So put them on glue dots before you color them. And then all you have to do is pick those up and then stick them on. So it actually works really well. It's a lot faster, a lot less tedious than trying to get all of the little pieces glued on and everything. And just follow the shapes that are on there, spreading out the colors. And the last one, green. There we go. Honestly, once you put the color on, it just makes it so darn cute. Now, I stamped the happy birthday on one of these tickets here. On this one, I just did it in petal pink. And then this little cute guy is the dies in there. So you can just add this on here. Now, you're going to want to just glue this on. Don't pop it up so it competes with this. And then add your little extra things here. In fact, maybe I'll even do one of these little puffy guys down here. Right down here, as long as it doesn't get in the way. That's kind of fun. And then we can add the twine or whatever else you want to add right here. I like the ticket right there. On the inside, oh, and then a few little embellishments scattered around. On the inside, I stamped the big roller coaster in the same smoky slate, a couple trees. Enjoy the ride up here on a ticket, and that's it. Oh, I did add silver down here. So if you want this silver here, and then you can add a little embellishment if you want to cover your brad up, which it looks nice if you do that. In this case, I did silver, and then I did these little asterisk guys. What are these things called? These little starbursts. I cut a couple of those out and stuck for the middle just to cover up my brad. Really fun to play with, and it'll be really great for someone who loves Ferris wheels. All right, we'll see you next time. See it, learn it, stamp it.